Oh, no, he didn't.
Girl, yes, he did.
Welcome back to Oh No, Girl, Yes, the podcast you love to love. And we love to love you, baby. This is interesting. Since our last episode, which is launching, I think, season 4. I think I always say season 3 because it's been 3 years. But we're in season 4 now, right?
Yes, we are.
And we have had a chance to have a lot of experiences and good experiences, negative experiences, bad experiences, but really appreciate being able to share all of those experiences with you guys. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you like our Facebook page, our Instagram, Twitter, all that, because daily we're posting something that can make you smile, laugh, or think. So thank you for being here. And don't forget, we also have Patreon, which is behind the scenes, a little bit more in-depth conversations. But we give you all the good stuff here too. So don't feel like you're missing out, but you're missing out. Sign up for Patreon. I want to also welcome some new listeners. In the last few weeks, a lot of people have reached out, particularly men, asking me about the podcast. So shout out to the new listeners we have. We hope you enjoy the show. But today we're talking about something that really is probably more on the heavier end of topics. And we really don't delve into this too much. And so we wanted to talk about it today, and that is dating trauma. Now, let's be clear. All of us have suffered traumas on some level just in life, and trauma is very subjective, and it's a spectrum. You know, something that affected someone harshly may not affect the next person as harshly. Correct. Or, you know, we're all the sum of our parts. And so sometimes things affect people differently. And so everything isn't a trauma, but you kind of have to trust and respect when someone says that's a trauma for me.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And so I think trauma, life traumas, whether it's some childhood trauma or challenges, they do affect you in your dating life, because as we all know, you know, who we were is who we'll be. And all of those things kind of factor into our decisions on who we choose to date and how we choose to date. It's been patterned for us either in a healthy way or an unhealthy way. But even if it's healthy or unhealthy, it still will inform how we decide to try to move forward. What do you think about that? We talk about how your parents are still married and my parents divorced when I was young, and it's informed both of us in different ways.
Right, right. You know, we always use the term PTSD when it comes to dating, which rears its ugly head a lot for the both of us, just based off our own experiences with the opposite sex and our own dating experiences just in general. But I think, you know, we've discussed, you know, how I grew up with two parents in the house, and but they both came from broken homes. So I hate the term broken homes, but they both grew up in single parent households for the most part. And so when my parents got together, they, more so than their marriage, they were determined to stick together because they wanted their kids to be raised in a 2-parent household. So it kind of, you know, that kind of led to them, I think, the success of their marriage, or it played a good part in it. But in my case, I feel like it's not a trauma thing for me growing up with a 2-parent household, obviously, but it was an illusion of what it took to keep a marriage together, or what it took to make a relationship work. You know what I mean? I wasn't privy to the issues and the problems that come along with relationships, because I think because of their trauma, they hid a lot of that stuff from us.
Right.
And so I grew up.
What you're talking about, what they hid is just regular
stuff. Yeah, just regular relationship stuff. Nothing crazy, but just I didn't have to see them. I guess as I got older, I saw more, but for the most part, I didn't have to see them work to make their relationship work.
Right. Because that wasn't none of your business as the child. That was a different thing.
Right. I think that was intentional on their part based on the trauma they experienced as children. So, but how it affected me was, I thought if things were not perfect with my partner, I need to move on and find a new partner. So I never felt the need to stay and make something work. Right.
Because you said it's not working, so take care. Right.
Yeah. So that was a result of how I grew up. Yeah.
Yeah, you know? That makes sense.
And I'm unlearning. I managed to really unlearn a lot of that, you know, and I've had open conversations, especially with my mom, about the things that they dealt with. And I remember, you know, even in college, I'm like, dang, if I had known that, I might have had me a successful relationship right now.
Right. If you knew that even successful relationships come with some stuff.
Right. So, yeah.
I would say since my parents divorced, I never had an attachment to a man, and my mom didn't date a lot. She just kind of honed in and focused. And she would always say, as long as me and the Lord got these kids, we're going to be okay. Mm-hmm. And so I think it informed my idea of being very insular, being very siloed from needing mm-hmm. a man. And so mm-hmm. my mom has often apologized to me as an adult. Like, I think I ruined you. I think you don't understand it's okay to want a partner or even feel like you need a partner. And I think even in that, it's not that I don't want or don't need one. I just know that is not what's going to make me ultimately happy. Yeah. And so I'm at a space in my life at 46, almost 47, where I'm looking for my ultimate happiness, especially we've been living 2 point something years in a pandemic. And you just see the challenges that everybody's going through. It's one of those things that I'm like, but what would make me happy? And I realize it's not necessarily a relationship per se, but it is being around people who love me and who I love. And that's
the partnership that comes with
the partnership. It's the companionship piece, because I've had so many relationships that I never had the companionship piece, right? Somebody was my boyfriend, but they literally were not my companion. They weren't the person I was doing the most things with. They weren't even the person I was bouncing ideas off of. They weren't the person I would talk to when I had a bad day. So it was literally like, okay, now why is this person in this space if they're not facilitating any of the things that I actually want from a relationship? And so what I have learned already this year in taking 2022 off is I have really had a really great time appreciating companionship. And that means men, women, my friends, family, just different things where I consider myself antisocial, but now I'm more conscious of when somebody says, hey, you want to do this? Or, hey, or give me a call, this is someone who is wanting to talk to me. This is someone who is wanting to spend time with me. And I look at it differently now after my last dating situation last year, where this person was my boyfriend, but was not interested in ever talking to me.
Right. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
And you mentioned taking 2022 off, and I don't know how much we delved into it last year, but last week, but if anybody doesn't know, just explain what you mean by that.
Yes, I'm on a dating diet right now. They say, don't call it a diet, it's a lifestyle. I have decided to maintain my vibration and my energy just for me this year. Last year, I dated 3 guys who all I thought were potential candidates for something a little bit more long-term, a little bit more in-depth, and none of those worked out. And so, unfortunately, I'm actually somebody who thinks you can date somebody and it just doesn't work out. And that does not mean it was a waste of time. It just means the relationship ran its course. It didn't work out. I literally feel like the 3 relationships or dating situations I was in last year were a waste of my time. Now, I was able to take some lessons from them, and I was able to incorporate some ideas of what I will never do or accept moving forward. So in that way, I can say there were still growing moments, but I don't have any of the like, oh, well, I remember that time we did that. Oh, and then we did that. I don't have any of the warm fuzzies to even manage why was I there, if that makes sense. I think I was overly attached to the potential of what this could be if they ever ... I remember with my last boyfriend, it was long distance. He lived in Indiana, and all my friends would hear me say, I'm gonna go to Indiana and fall in love with my boyfriend, because I kept waiting to feel this attachment and this connection that I want to have with this person that I literally do not have. But I believe it's just been the timing. Maybe it's because we've been on my turf. Maybe because it's been short times that we've been busy, all that stuff. And then I just had to realize and accept that, no, that's just not my person. And I wanted him to be my person for sure. But he wasn't.
Love your nails, by the way.
Thank you. This is another trauma piece of my life. Thank you for that. So it's one of those things where I'm taking 2022 off because unfortunately I tend to lower my vibration when I'm dating. And I think we all do to some sort. I know I do it more than is healthy for me. Okay.
Well, because when you buy into something, you all in.
I'm in.
You're all into something, that's what it is.
That's what I'm doing.
When you're not into it, I'm out.
1,000%.
No in between.
There's no gray. There's literally no gray for me.
No gray area. It's black or white. That's it.
And it's hard. It makes it hard sometimes for me to be a friend with good advice because, if you guys are dating or I have several girlfriends going through challenges, whatever, I have to consciously not say, girl, bye, let that go. Get your dreams back.
Right.
Right. Hey, well, think about what you just said, or think about what they heard, or think about how you, and I'm not saying alter change, but it's not white and black. Now, for me, it is only because how I am all or none. And even in saying that, let me give this caveat. I'm not clingy. I don't need to talk to you all day, every day. I don't even need to talk to you every day. I don't have a problem with long distance relationships. That means I probably might see you once a month. And I still have not found anyone to offer me even the little bit I would enjoy.
That bare minimum.
Bare minimum. And you know what? And I struggle because I think there's still a difference between bare minimum and what I'm okay with, because I think I'm okay with.
You think there's a lesser version of that?
I think that's what I've been offered. I think I don't ask for a whole lot.
Gotcha.
Right? So what I'm being offered is less than the bare minimum, but I don't even think I'm asking for bare minimum. That's what I'm saying. I think.
Oh, you think your level is like right here? Bare minimum is here.
I mean, some people are like, well, yeah, I should talk to him every day, or I should see him, or should he, all. I've seen people have different standards, right? And I don't think I have low standards, right? But I do think I don't require a lot only because I've been single for so long. So I don't have a whole lot that I need because I ain't never had that.
You're not in that space anyway.
I'm not in that space. So when you add to my life, all you can do is add to it. You're not making my life, so I don't need a lot. But for me personally, I tend to lower my own vibration to try to be so accessible, so available, so open to let him know, no, but I really want you. Now I know I got all this going on that ain't got nothing to do with you. And I will always have this, but I want you to know that I'm trying to be about you. And I don't want, and then I kind of somehow literally lose my way for myself. And then when it's not worth it, it's not worth it. And then that's when I stop and say, okay, you know what? I know that if I bet on me, I'm going to be okay. Now, with that being said, and me taking 2022 off, and we're still very early in the year, I have found companionship. And it's been really exciting because in the companionship I have found, we talk and we put puzzles together and we play, and it's genuinely companionship. It is not a relationship. There's no cadence of communication. He's not looking to hear from me at a certain time. I'm not looking to hear from, we communicate when we communicate. But what I love is that our communications are genuine and authentic. And it's like, it feels great.
And with that companionship, what specifically, I know you say you do puzzles, you do that. What specifically are you getting from that companionship that you wish you would have gotten with your actual relationships?
Authenticity. My companion, and this will probably be a future episode, but I will say he's very young. He's much younger than me. He's like, he's much younger than me. I'm older than his mother. Does that sound horrible?
That sound, I mean, when you put it like that, you might as well have said his age, because I'm like, what? Yeah. His mama had him when
she was 3. I'm clipping it. Yeah, that's but hilarious. Anyway, in my stand-up comedy routine, I tell jokes about how young men love older women. I'm 46, almost 47, and I joke about I can date the son or the daddy. And I was at a show and I was doing my jokes about how I don't want no young man and all the things I tell young men to get them to back away. And after a show, this young man would not back away. And
no. Let's not go too deep.
I'm not gonna go into it, but my point is he had conversation and he was authentic. So that is what he has that the men I've tried to date that were my age or older didn't have, is that this young person doesn't have a way to pretend. He's not trying to manipulate the situation. He shows up as is.
But do you think that's because, and then we're going to get back to mental health in a second.
Right, because let me say this, and then the reason why I have a greater appreciation for this young man, he met me on stage. I was vibrating at a very high level, and he was not intimidated by that. He approached me, and that's why I think I have an appreciation for our interactions. When I have been dating, especially recently, and I don't know if it's just a new breed of man, okay, but
or we just didn't pay attention before. Like, what's going on?
I think they're getting worse as they get older, and I think and again, that'll be another topic for another day. But the vitriol that so many men share online about women, and it feels like they just don't even like us no more. And so it's like, now, are we trying to find a partner, or are we just trying to find somebody to fight with, or to try to outsmart or out manipulate? So anyway, with me taking this dating detox, I've already had so many amazing epiphanies about myself, about what I want, about what I deserve, and what I will accept. And so I'm excited. I'm not excited to think about dating again. I've often joked with my friends, I don't know how y'all gonna get me back out there. But I've also have always been very optimistic and positive in general, but I go through my phases. If you've been listening to the podcast, sometimes I'm like, never again in the history of life. Today, I don't feel like never again in the history of life, but I can say never again in any way that I've ever experienced it before.
That's all you can say.
That's all I can say. It will never look like that again. No.
So back to the mental aspect of dating and how it affects us mentally.
Mm-hmm.
We've both had, we've shared pretty horrible stories on here about our dating past and experiences and stuff like that. What do you think is the main thing that's kept you from, I don't want to say going over the edge or just having a breakdown? Because it does lend itself a lot. I was talking to you about this yesterday. It's like, why me? Why am I at times? We started this podcast because we wanted to show you guys that you are not alone in these dating woes. Like this is, we all experience the same thing, but in the moment you feel so alone and you feel like everybody you meet is either rejecting you for some reason or doesn't find you enough sometimes. And then you start looking at yourself and say, hey, I'm the common denominator here. So what is the problem?
Well, see, I have that issue, but in reverse. I feel like most of the men I date know they are not enough, but yet they punish me for how they feel about themselves. So I don't generally have a relationship fail and feel like, what's wrong with me? I feel like, when am I going to meet somebody that feels like they deserve me? When am I going to meet somebody that loves themselves enough that they are not challenged by how I love myself? When am I going to meet someone that is confident and secure enough and authentic enough and has so much integrity like I do that they match my flow and I don't have to lower my vibration to get on their level just to have the perceived companionship that literally does not exist. So I'm blessed in that I'm on the opposite end. And it's not because I think I'm perfect or I don't have anything that I need to work on. I know a lot of times, and you and I have talked about this, it's hard to know what you would need to work on in a partnership when you don't get the reps. So I don't have a whole lot of reps of would I be a great partner or would I be a great girlfriend? So I'm not speaking on myself like, oh, and I know I'm all that, but I do know this is what I am. And that is the truth of what I present. And I get disappointed that men don't present the truth of who they are, flaws and all. And that's what I tend to get more annoyed by. As far as my mental health challenges when I'm dating, and I also want to make sure I put this caveat because mental health, somehow I think when people talk about mental health, they hear mental illness. And mental health is just like any kind of part of your body. It's health and wellness, right? So it's about how you think about things and not just dating, how you think about food, how you think about life. You can look around your house and be like, well, what do I think about my house and myself? And it looks like this. I remember when my house was a showpiece and now I'm like, okay, just step over that. You'll get there. Okay. And so it's all builds into how we think about things. So since we specifically talk about dating, my mental health is challenged when I'm dating because I am having to buy into an idea with the men I have dated in the past that I am not worth a return phone call. I am not worth time and effort. I am not interesting enough to call. I am not fun enough to spend time, and so I know those things are not true. I've never thought that about me.
Correct.
But I have to lower my vibration. I have to buy into this alternate universe to have the interaction to try to believe these things that are not true. So
it's almost like a survival. It's almost like a survival.
It's anxiety. I don't sleep well. I'm anxious. I'm rereading text 4 or 5. Well, what did I say? Well, why didn't he respond? Well, he hasn't responded. Well, okay. Well, should I send another? And it's all this stuff. And also I'm an overthinker in general, but because these men that I've dated, it's like they want to cause confusion. They want you to be confused. They don't want you to think. They want you to, for real. Speaking of my most recent ex-boyfriend, he would say, I want us to be together. I want to be with you. And then I wouldn't hear from him for another month until it was time for him to say, hey, I miss you. I want to be with you. And then I wouldn't hear from him for another month. Now, what do you think that month is doing when I'm like, well, he didn't call. Well, he ain't said nothing. Well, he didn't make a plan. Well, he's in my town and they saw me. Well, and so now why am I having to spend precious brain energy and power being confused about my actual boyfriend? Yeah, so no, I would never do that again in history of life. What about you? Your mental, I feel like I want to answer yours to you, but how do you feel your mental health is affected when you're dating successfully or even unsuccessfully?
I would say, like, specifically, okay, so unsuccessful dating. I get angry easily. So I am a blamer.
Okay.
Or a throwing, and it's just really specific. I'm specifically talking about relationships and, you know, dating and stuff.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, you didn't see need to call me this day for this, whatever, or to, you know, respond. Oh, so we got a problem. Like, I guess it's more of a, I don't really internalize it until afterwards.
But it's also a control thing.
It's a control thing. Yes. I try to I script a lot of stuff. So I think I set myself up for failure when I'm scripting how life works out for me, because I script everything other part of my life and it works out just fine. But when I script dating, you're dealing with someone else.
Right.
And you can't really control that
at
other
all
person
on any level.
So what I'm trying to do is learn how to control myself in my responses and in my interactions with people when I'm dating. But I've struggled with that in the past, where I will set myself up by setting an expectation through my own scripting. And when it doesn't happen, now I'm upset. And most times wrongfully upset at the other person, when it should be me that I'm upset, you know, or when it should be me that's changing, not necessarily upset with myself, but just like me that needs to say, hey, you kind of set yourself up for that.
Right. And you and I do this. Obviously you can always see it on somebody else more than you see it on yourself. But you and I do it all the time. I can see when you do it in dating, and I know I do it in dating, but I'm conscious of trying to release it. But we do have this thing of, well, all he had to do was say this and this and this.
Exactly.
Well, if he had called me by this time, then I wouldn't have been what. And so I did an exercise over Thanksgiving that I really think really helped me with this. And that was, I watched a bunch of love movies and rom-coms and all that. And what I got to appreciate is, just like in real life, so everybody is their own main character. And so when you're watching a film and you're watching a character and they might be dating someone, usually the main character does not see what the other person is doing in their scene. The audience is privy to it. And then when we see them share that scene, somebody's not being honest. Someone's not telling them the whole story. And you're like, just tell them what happened.
Right.
And so I had a new appreciation for the fact that I'm the main character in my scenes. I cannot script what somebody else is doing in their scene. So you know what? I have stopped cold turkey, and I stopped it with the last guy I dated, because my friends and my family, my mom, well, what do you think is going? I don't know. That's not my scene. You know, it's like I used to be like, well, maybe this, and maybe he thinks this, and maybe if I do this, and if I could do a somersault, Sukahara off the horse, and then if I dismount, it's like, you know what? I have an appreciation of those are his scenes that he is the main character in. The scenes that we share together, that's all I can be worried about. And I'm still only responsible for my lines. Okay. Right. And I have to just play off my scene partner in real time.
Right. Yeah. I think it's the producer in me too. Because in producing, you script a lot. You sell people what to say, when, and how to say it. Right.
And I need the story to go in this order, this amount of time.
And so that's how my mind operates.
Commercial.
Yeah.
And so you sometimes struggle with that. But I think we all do it. We do it a lot when we're talking about our business or things we have going. We'll say, well, why don't they email us this? And why didn't it? And then all
they had to do was this. Like,
well, why wouldn't they just have done this?
Yeah. And some of that does come with being a know-it-all too. I will admit that. I am definitely a know-it-all.
Well, and it's hard when you do know it all. It's hard to it's a challenge to act like you do not know it all. And I have said to you, you're going to have to learn how to say, oh, for real? Our grandmamas were great at it. Our mothers were like, oh, okay. But we have this thing where, no, let me tell you why that's not right. No, let me tell you why that was a bad thing you just said. I remember one of the guys I dated last year would give me examples about his time and why he didn't have time for me. And I said, well, those are horrible examples. Let me tell you why, and I couldn't just say, okay.
Yeah. And there is a balance in feeding into somebody's BS and then allowing them to be their genuine selves. And, a lot of times we think so far beneath the surface.
so far.
Of
they
whatever
literally are right here,
talking about this, but I'm all the way down here thinking like
all the way.
You know what I mean? So, and you have to think about, yes. So that's one of my biggest things. And it has set me up for disappointment. I don't think I've ever, I can't say I didn't when I was little, but I don't know. I can't remember a time where I'm like, something is wrong with me because I'm so headstrong. Mm-hmm. It's hard for me to even.
Well, no, I will tell you what it looks like, friend. Thanks for asking.
What does it look like?
Thanks for asking me about you. You will receive feedback about you, and you'll say, so that's how I am. And it's like, so it's not like you don't know it.
Right.
But
yes.
And what's the balance, right? What's the balance?
There is a balance. And I used to tell you a lot of times when you wrote that.
When I made a list, I got to find that list.
So when you wrote that list, but I grew up telling myself like, oh, I know who my friends are because they accept me for who I am. Mm-hmm. And for the most part, that still is true. You know, there are certain core things that I do, and the way I act and who I am and what I say and the way I say things that are, a part of who I am. But I think, honestly, really in the last 10 years, when I pledged my sorority, it's going to sound crazy. It was like all these different women with these different personalities coming together. And I think that's when I started seeing that, hey, you don't have to be this way all the time. Mm-hmm. You don't have to deliver this message in this tone or using this language all the time. I still had my faults, plenty of them. But I think that was the first time it opened my eyes and probably just going to college anyway, just seeing all these different people entering your lives with different experiences and different ways of handling things and stuff like that. I always went to smaller schools, didn't have to adjust a lot. And so, but in dating, that is a challenge just because, it's a challenge.
But you're also different. You're different in dating because for anybody who might not know or might not remember, the list we're talking about is one time we were having a fun day out, something switched, and she just became mean, evil, and hateful to me, y'all. Okay. And I did not know what switched. We were having a conversation. We had a difference of opinion of how to do something, which is very simple, and it switched. And I had never seen that side of her. And so when in real time, I was saying to her, what is going on? Like, what happened? Why are you acting like this? And she said, that's when I got concerned. She said, ask my brother how he deal with it. I was like, no, you can't be like this. This can't be you, And I made her a list the next day. I said, these are all the things you need to pray about for somebody to be able to love you, because I knew that these are not the things that come up in your friendships. This is what's going to come up. I think I said something. Yeah. Like we date, like you coming at me like I'm your man, and I said, and I made her a list. I said that these gonna have to be the things you pray about, baby, because in the context of a relationship, this ain't gonna be it. You're my friend, and I'm thinking maybe she got stung by a bee or something, and she having I don't know why she going off on me like this. But we joke about the list. But like I said, my next book is what? I might not be a great girlfriend. It's full of chapters because I realized in partnership, I'm dope, but I probably might not be the best partner because I haven't had to compromise that much. I haven't had to release and not be my way. I don't have a lot of experience with it being your way. That's foreign to me, and that's going to be necessary. So I made her a list, but it's a list that I think we all need to look at, especially when we're trying to be a good companion for someone. Right. Now, but let me say this about your list and my list, and most of the women that's listening to this list. You are perfection. And a lot of times we don't even get a chance to go down our list to work on it because we get ghosted at hello.
Yeah.
Let's be clear.
We don't even get to our problems, our issues.
Get to our stuff to work through.
Yeah,
so
that's very true.
Becomes the frustration.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I'm not perfect, but why did I have to deal with all your stuff at the front door? And we never even made it in the house to try to work through some of my stuff. So that's why I said it feels like a waste of time when I don't get a chance to experience myself in a relationship to be able to grow from the experience. I just sat there and wasted time trying to let you wait until you felt like I was worthy of your energy.
Yeah. And I'm not taking a date. I'm not on a dating diet or anything like that, but I do agree that I will not go down that road again of waiting for somebody to figure out if I'm worthy or not.
Asking somebody, when am I going to, I mean, y'all, it's the simple stuff. You should never have to ask a man, when am I going to see you? like as simple as that sounds, if you are asking a man, when am I going to see you? I want you to take a step back and realize something might be a little off. Only because we are all busy. We all got schedules. We all got plans. But if two people are connected and interested in each other, that's not a question that's going to come up because we figured it out in process. Right? We said, okay, I got to work this day, but I had this day off. Okay, wait, I'm going to be out of town. You're working it out all along. So you know when you're going to see him. You're not just hoping and wishing and that was one of my things for the last year and a half. I don't have no plans with this dude I'm dating. Like we literally have no plans. So if I just decide to stop talking to him, there's nothing to cancel. There's nothing to change. There's nothing to reschedule. We have no plans.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had no plans. But you're my boyfriend. Yeah. But there's literally no plan for anything for us, whether it's next Saturday or next year.
Right.
I would never do that again. And last year I asked too many men, when am I going to see you?
Yeah, once you get to that point, it's just like, and because that's the thing, and it was unique about us, and maybe a lot of women who have experienced most of their adulthood as single, people. We ain't got to see, like she said, we ain't got to see you all the time. So once I get to asking, that means it's been way too long, sir.
That's all I'm saying.
Way too long. Because once I get to asking, that means I done did everything I need to do, supposedly. And it's like, oh, wait, it's been 3 weeks? We ain't seen each other?
Wait, it's been 3 weeks and we ain't even talked about seeing each other again? So I ain't even saying that we ain't seen it. We ain't even talked about it.
Right. Because most of it's going to be long distance or whatever. But
I ain't mad at a long distance relationship. We all busy. It helps me maintain some of my focus or whatever. But now I lost my focus because I'm trying to figure out why I literally have no plans or no idea of when I will ever see you again.
And I think that's the biggest thing about it. Like I said, like, it's not like, and I think that goes with what I was talking about, the bare minimum, because it's like, it's not like I'm saying, hey, fly in every weekend and let's hang out. No, that's not going to happen. However, once I get to that point, there is a problem.
So let me say this. My companion, we have plans. That's jarring to me, right? Because this is not nobody I'm looking for like that. He ain't looking for me. And we literally have plans. So I know that if someone has asked me to be his girlfriend and has told me he wants to be intentional about the connection and see what we can grow into, and we literally never have a plan, this is not authentic. This is not truthful. This is not real. And that's my point. Sometimes I'll send you text messages or even my other girlfriends with like a snippet of a conversation to say, it is not that deep, y'all, for someone to just enjoy hanging out with you. And that's why I said it's going to be hard for me to get back into the mindset of let me meet this person and hope they like me. I think I will, if for me to start dating again next year when I'm even open to it, or in 2 years when I'm open to it, I think I'm adding years onto my diet. But I feel like it would have to be, and I'm someone who's a big fan of dating apps and all that, but I do believe it would have to be more organic for me. I'm not going to be able to meet somebody and hope they form a connection to me. It's going to have to be somebody I've been interacting with. We probably already have some kind of vibe or connection, and then we pour into that. But
there you go, scripting though. Don't script it too much.
No, I'm saying what I'm not going to do. That's not
I got you.
That's just saying I realize.
I know, but you're saying it's going to be somebody. It may not be somebody that you've interacted with, and it doesn't have to be somebody you met on a dating app for it. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't say, oh, I met somebody. You know what I mean? Like,
now hear her.
I didn't know him before, so I'm not gonna date him.
No, that's not scripting because it don't involve nobody but me and what I am going to allow and participate in. It's scripting when it's why didn't he call me at 5:00 and all he had to say was
no, but I think we still have that.
No, because just like I said, I will never say when I see you, like I can say I am not going to.
Yeah, I get that. No, I'm talking about the meeting itself. You're saying it will have to be somebody that I've already had an interaction with. That doesn't necessarily mean that's not true. It doesn't necessarily have to be that person. Well, not saying you have to meet them on a dating app.
Well, I would have to have some kind of interaction with the person to even know they exist in life. So I'm not saying we were best friends or we work. I'm saying I would have had to have some kind of interaction that sparked that interest. It won't just be, oh, I don't know this person.
I got you. I get that. The whole dating. Yeah, you don't have
I'm saying it would have to be an organic interaction with someone, and then
not just saying, hey, I just met you.
Hey, I swear, like what's up? Why you single? No. That's what I'm saying. No. And again, this is not anti-dating apps. I'm saying for me,
I know, I got you.
I need now. And I've been able to grow and say, and that's okay, to know that what I thrive on, the young companion I have, it was just a genuine interaction that I enjoyed. And so that was easy. Right. And so I'm like, okay, I don't have to make this hard. I don't have to just pull somebody out the sky and say, okay, enjoy me and like me and want to interact with me. Either you gonna want to interact with me, and then I'm gonna say, wow, we like being together. We like hanging out. Okay. Well, so the whole point about mental health, that was the point. I know y'all know how we start talking, we go on 5 different topics, but I feel better mentally. And I also want to add in, just like how my dating was making me feel bad mentally because I was having to believe something that wasn't true and lower my vibration to even have those unfortunate interactions. My new situation in being single and 100% self-centered and self-focused, but even with my companion, I feel desired. I feel interesting. I feel smart. I feel like I'm a great cook because, he makes me feel these things that I don't generally feel in these interactions. So I'm taking that from him as well, because that's positive. And so when I walk down the street, I'm not necessarily the 46-year-old woman who's trying to cover this up. I'm like, oh, baby. I'm older than his mama. Catch it. She's hot. She's hot.
Oh, Lord.
Ladies, go get you a young one. That's another episode. Get one. Get you one. Get you one.
That's hilarious.
That is another episode. So anyway, we pray that you are focusing on your mental health. We pray that you are being intentional about protecting your mental health, because you know what? It's the same as somebody interacting with you negatively on social media will give you a bad day, or somebody saying something, girl, why you got that on? So it don't take a lot for somebody to get in there and change your whole energy and spirit.
Right. Correct. So, and let me say this, if you're not journaling, which I do off and on, but Eunice suggested, I was going through something the other day and she was like, write down your feelings, that actually helps. Like, I know everybody can't see a therapist. Everybody can't, have a podcast where they talk about it all the time, because this is our therapy, believe it or not. But
totally unlicensed and unsanctioned.
I mean, our therapy. Off the cuff there, but it does help is what I mean. Us talking about it openly and being open with you guys about it and with each other. But if you don't, just write stuff down sometimes. I'm talking about pen and paper writing. It's a release. If nothing else, it's a release. It's not for everybody, but if you never tried it, I suggest you try it and see how you feel afterwards.
I agree. You got to do something to feel better. It might be dancing. It might be singing. It might be putting on clothes, playing makeup, doing your hair, whatever it is that you tend to feel your vibration rise when you do it, do more of that. And if you are in therapy, congratulations. I am so excited to see so many people talking about therapy and being in therapy. I realize we're hyper aware of certain things because we do talk about stuff every week. And even in this, I want you to also know there is power in your pain. Talking about it makes you less of the victim, right? So we talk about this worked, this didn't work, this happened, this didn't happen, but we feel empowered when we share, because one, we know we're not alone, and we know that we can only grow and do better. And our heart breaks when women get stuck. Anybody gets stuck, but specifically women, when they get stuck in that low vibration or get stuck processing bad information and start believing it true of themselves. And so if you do not confirm my high opinion of myself, we can't be friends.
Yeah.
That's just it. If you don't think I'm dope, we can't be friends. Definitely can't be lovers. All I'm saying about that. Be clear. So I'm excited for this year because obviously y'all are still going to have content. And you as well. I'll let you have some content as well. Okay. All right. Until next time, take care of yourselves. We're so excited to be back for season 4. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up this year. Still pandemic recording. What is that about? We have to do, how many more episodes we're gonna have to do about dating in the pandemic? Getting married in
Just when you think it's over, it just something else just rears its ugly head and you're just back to whatever.
COVID sucks. Hashtag COVID sucks. All right. I mean that from the heart. All right. Until next time. Oh, no, he didn't.
Girl, yes, he did.